crafty friends, it's Rick. I'm back with another video for CC Designs. Today we are going to use the Honey Bear stamp set and some plain old Crayola markers for a watercolor effect for a quick, easy card. And I'm also going to use some pattern paper from Echo Park as well. All right, we're going to stamp out our image first onto our Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I'm going to stamp the little Honey Bear and Piglet onto that cardstock. You can get Bristol Smooth cardstock everywhere. I have everything linked and listed in the video description below. So I'm going to stamp our little image down using VersaFine Fallen Leaves ink. It's just a nice brown, dark brown ink. So it's not quite stark black. I did go ahead and stamp out my sentiment for my card onto a 1-inch piece of banner. It's 1 inch by 4 1/4. I'm going to trim that down with a banner in, but we're going to go ahead and color up our images first. So we are going to use our Crayolas, and I'm going to start with this bright pack with the pink, because I know this pink is going to be super bright. So I want to pick up a little paint or marker color with my brush, my water brush. I'm going to add that where I want it to be darkest on the shadows. And then I'm going to blend this out to a lighter pink color for the highlights would be. But that way I can control what area is going to be the darkest and get our different values. And we can also layer these up after they dry to get more contrast if we need to. So we'll go ahead and add this in to where we want that shadow to be the darkest on the back of her head. And I will blend this out to a nice light pink color, the rest of her face. Then we'll do the same thing to her little arms. I'm going to put my shadow in first. I have got a towel that I am blotting off any color excess so I can blend this out smoothly. Pick up a little bit more we can. Blend that in there. We'll do her little legs. Blend that out, just like so. Before I add the second color in, I'll let that dry a little bit, and we will work on our little bear. So for him, I'm going to take our yellow, and I'm going to scribble that off with a little brown and just a tad bit of orange. I'll mix this together to create a nice golden color. So I'll add that into our shadow areas of his little face. So I'll take it and add to that. Squeeze out a little bit more color so that I can start getting that highlights or mid-tones and colors blended out. You can always pick up a little bit more where we need it. I'll blend this out. Now you can also just color right on him and blend it out as well. That's a different technique. We're just going to do straight watercolor today. Go ahead and do this little ear. I'll blend that. We've got his little arm here. I'll blend that, like so. And I can always drop in a little bit more color while it's still wet. But you do want to be careful with the amount of color that you put on. I'll go ahead and add a little bit more color here. We can do this back side. I'm going to add a color right under his little belly. darken up his little shadow under his tummy. On this side, because there would be that cast shadow there from our little piglet. So we're going to add a little bit of cast shadowing there. Go back and add a little bit more color if we want to his little face. A little that right under where that sleeve is. So there would be a shadow right there. We probably have a little shadow right here on his little tail. Now I can always come in with a little bit more color and brighten things up if I want to. Maybe right here we want a little bit brighter yellow. Maybe the sun's hitting his little face, so we can brighten his little face up a little. Just blend those together there. Then I can pull that out. See, that's already, we've used so little ink that is already pretty much dry. But I would say if you're going to add multiple layers, you want to let each layer dry, like typical watercoloring. And I mean, you can always speed it up with a heat tool, but you're using Bristol cardstock, so you do want to be a little bit careful. All right, we're going to add a little bit darker color to our little piglet. So we're going to do her little stripes. I just got a darker mauve color marker. We'll just add that in. I'm just going to do every other one. I can use that for her little tongue. Make a little bit of that pink. Lighter pink. And we'll grab a little bit of that darker. I can bump up her little shadows. Just a tad. We'll just bump those up just a tad right in there. Maybe this little leg is a little bit darker because it's going to be more shadow, so we can add a little bit more color right there. And right under here, I'm going to add a little bit of shadowing back here. So there she is all colored up. Now all we have to do is his little shirt. So we're going to use red. I'm going to come in with just the marker and put this where I want it to be the darkest. Right under here. I'm going to pull this color out as well. So it's got clean water on my brush. I can activate that pigment in the Crayola marker because it is water-based, so we can move it around and treat it just like watercolors. We're going to do his little, I forgot his little ears, so we need to add pink into his little ears. All right, so there's our image all colored up using our Crayola markers and a water brush. So now we're gonna put our card together. So I've got a craft color card base, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm gonna pop my card base in there, and I'm gonna stamp our image again on the inside of our card. So that way, that will already be in place. So I'm going to switch over to a dye ink for this. I could also stamp a second sentiment, but I'm just going to stamp them on the inside. I'm also giving my colored image a little bit more time to dry. So there is our card base. Standard A2 top folding card base. I've got a couple pieces of our pattern paper. Oops, wrong side. We want the plaid side out. So we'll go ahead and add this. Then we are going to add our green pattern paper. And I'm intentionally shifting everything over to the right-hand side of the card, or left-hand side of the card, to leave more of a margin on the top, bottom, and the right-hand side. I'll go ahead and layer up our little colored image. And I've just cut that at the matte layer at 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. That's gonna go on here. And we've got our sentiment that will go on. Now, actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut my little banners. So I'm just gonna come in with a pair of snips. And I will snip up at the center and go from corner to corner, or corner to center, to create my little flag. I'm gonna do it from on both sides. And I'm going to add adhesive on here, because we are going to add this right below our little bears and piglet. And actually, I did forget to come in and add some color around. So we'll just add a little blue right up close to our image. And we'll blend that out. So you can see that you don't have to color perfectly well. Just gonna blend that just a little to create maybe a sky behind them. All right, so there is our image completely colored up now. And there is our panel. I'm gonna go ahead and grab foam tape. So I'm gonna pop them up. So I'm gonna flip this over, and I'll add a couple of strips of foam tape behind. Grab a couple little pieces that we can stick behind our banner. So everything's on the same level. I'm gonna peel these backings off. I'm gonna add a little liquid glue on our foam tape so we can wiggle this into place. I'm gonna put it right in there. Then I will take my gel pen and add a couple little highlights to our colored images. And then to finish my card off, I got some enamel dots. So I'm gonna add a little dot of glue there. I'll pop that one there. 2 more there. And small, we'll grab a small one, add right there. I'm gonna add 2 on this side. Got a medium one, we'll add a medium one right there, and another small. All right, my friends, so here is a look at our finished card, colored with our Crayola markers as a watercolor technique. There's a look at the inside of the card. I'll hold this up closer to the camera for you. If you need any of the supplies, I have them all linked and listed in the video description below. I'll see you in the next video right over there. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.